Now, have you ever received a call from a number you didn't know, maybe offering you a job that seemed too good to be true, or maybe gotten a link to pay for a package that was supposedly in your name? Now, I know I have, and in many of those cases, it all comes down to phishing with a PH. Phishing, of course, is that fraudulent practice aimed at getting your personal info. In just a minute, we'll be speaking to cyber defense expert Rodrigue Le Bayon. But first, Solange Mougin takes a closer look at a prevention campaign on the growing problem in France.
It is called Operation Cactus, and the idea is to warn children and teens to watch out for the pricklier side of technology, to keep them from falling victim to potential scams and hackers online. Its flyer reads, "And you, did you click? Let's talk about it in class." France's digital wing of its education department has launched a nationwide prevention campaign to teach children some of the warning signs of cyber phishing, or as it's called in French, hameçonnage. Before launching the one-hour-long course for middle school and high school students, the department did a practice test of sorts. On Tuesday, it announced that it had sent out a fake phishing email to 2.5 million students, with the promise of winning free video games. 1 in 12, or 210,000 students, clicked on the link. Rather than actually being hacked or scammed from it, those that did click were then redirected to an education video on how to spot such attempts to steal one's identity, personal information, or money. The student course comes after a number of cyber attacks on France's education department. And of course, it doesn't just affect schools. Such attacks are increasingly a major problem in France and globally. Last year, the government's cyber malveillance site published its figures on the number of reported cases. Some 280,000 people contacted the site for help, with phishing being the #1 source of problems for individuals. It was up 38%. Followed by hacked accounts and fake tech support sites. The cyber watchdog also warned that fake bank emails and calls were also on the rise, with a 78% jump from the previous year.
Well, we're going to talk about this phishing problem here in France with Rodrigue Le Bayon, a cyber defense expert for Orange. Rodrigue, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us. I mean, first of all, what do you think about that campaign from the French Education Department trying to show kids how easy it is to be hacked or phished?
Yeah, exactly. It's very important. Awareness is really at what is required today. It's really preventing the scammers to succeed and make everyone a potential victim. So this awareness program that specifically targets school children is key, because today the victims of today will be maybe the youngest people that will be the victim tomorrow. And specifically the digital native or the youngest people, today they do have basically a live online. They're just living completely their life online. So it's key that they can be really aware of the techniques, and also how they could prevent falling into this scam.
And why do you think there's been such a huge increase in the number of these fraudulent text messages recently? I mean, what's it linked to?
It's directly connected to the way how we are living, actually. We are online, we are doing shopping online. It really had a boom, specifically during the pandemic, the previous pandemic, so COVID-19. It was a boom. Everyone shopped online. You got the parcel being delivered at home. And the problem is that, you're waiting for your parcel. So you're pretty vulnerable in that situation. So this is what the scammers, they will look for. They will try to get you being caught in that process, that you will be into the hurry of expecting your parcel to be delivered. And they want you to be in this specific vulnerable situation.
And what's interesting is it's not just links anymore. There are more and more phishing phone calls. I know here in the newsroom, many of us are getting phishing phone calls from numbers out of the UK. What's that all about?
Oh, it's something we've been tracking about. So there is a lot of techniques used by these scammers. What they want is to get as many as personal details they can get from you, because this is very valuable for them. They want to find a big fish. This is what they will look for. It can be anyone. So you have received a fraudulent text messages. I do have also, even if I'm a security expert, everyone is concerned. So they want to get this big fish, and they will then create scenarios where they will try to get details so they can get a lot of money from your bank account, and they're making a huge profit in this activity. We are talking here about billions of euros every year.
And what's so incredible is it seems like it's really targeted. I was talking to cousins from New York who say they get things about car insurance. And I know in Paris, like you were saying, it's about packages being delivered. How do they get this information? How do they target it so well?
Yeah, because they will use people directly in your area of living. And this is where they're really strong here. You know, they're using massive techniques that are, you can see those techniques worldwide, but they will adapt those techniques specifically in your region, in your area. And this is what makes them successful, unfortunately, because so they can be from various countries, but they will specifically hire some people that will have the intelligence to know exactly what is being very active. And they will also adapt to the maybe current crisis that can happen in a country and specific new trends with new platform online. So they will constantly adapt also all the fake websites to what can be very interesting for them as a target.
And it seems like a lot of these phishing attempts are coming also on platforms that we think are secure, things like WhatsApp, for example. I mean, how are they breaking through there?
Yes, because they are able to get some accounts because they will get some login details, so they will use those login details so they can impersonate a legitimate user. So you will receive calls from accounts, unfortunately, that might have been compromised. And also they will use a lot of techniques to use any massive communication systems. So you can feel safer due to this platform because they are encrypted and so on. But in fact, you can be trapped because someone maybe is impersonating a real legitimate user account.
Okay, so what are we supposed to do? First of all, how do you recognize that something's a phishing attempt?
First of all, it's important that every user does not feel alone. So really focus on a community-driven approach. And this is exactly the approach that we do have at Orange, because we have been offering an application called Orange Téléphone for years, and for which we have more than 1.5 million users today that are using this application. And this application notifies the users that they are receiving a fraudulent call here. And now we have gone beyond. So we can also detect the fraudulent text message that you are receiving by the SMS, but also you can report any suspicious message that you will receive on very social networks platform, private messages, direct messages that you are receiving, and then you can check and have an expert beyond in the case you still have a doubt.
So in your opinion, it is worth flagging it if you see it come up?
Yes, it's very important first. If you are able to identify that it might be suspicious, report this. And last year, we received more than 300,000 of reportings. And we are analyzing these reports from users continuously, 24/7. It's very important because then we can take some actions. Okay, we are doing takedowns of specific infrastructure, and also what is very important, if as a user you have fallen and you become a victim, call the police. It's very important. In France, we do have the police, cyber police now, that is really recent. It's called the 17 Cyber, call the police.
So just to sum up, if you think it's suspicious, don't click, don't answer. Is that right?
Never click something you don't expect. Very important.
That's noted. Rodrigue Le Bayon, thank you so much for coming in to speak to us. You are a cyber defense expert at Orange. Thank you very much for coming in.